What time is it? Almost 11? Let me hit the button. Not that one.
I'll make a stay out of you.
Wakey, wakey.
Welcome back to I'll Make a Stay Out of You, the podcast where I, Phil, watch really old, well, not that old, but like a year old Stray Kids content with Tom.
Wow.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Like the real life version of dwaekki.
You like the real life version of dwaekki? I feel like I'm the real life version of dwaekki at this point too.
Like the real life version of dwaekki.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's kind of like dwaekki, but like not dwaekki, and it's kind of like the real life version of dwaekki.
Like the real life version of dwaekki.
Yeah, it's like the real life version of dwaekki.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, tonight we watched the first 4 episodes of Two Kids Room.
Like the real life version of dwaekki.
Like the real life version of dwaekki, and it was pretty good. I mean, I thought it was interesting. How did you feel about this series? Because there's a lot of them.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, did you say there's 28?
There's 28 episodes.
That's right.
If we do 4 each time, then it'll take 7 episodes to get through all of them.
I did the math earlier, right? Because there's 28 episodes and they're about 15 minutes apiece. That means we could do all of it in 420 minutes. Blaze it.
Okay. Yeah. Blaze it.
That's math, baby.
That's broccoli.
Like the real life version of dwaekki.
Like the real life version of dwaekki. How do you feel? Like, you know, this is definitely content where I felt like it's cool, it's insightful, it's like helpful information for a stay, but it's also like them sitting in a room and talking. So I just wasn't sure, like, is this going to be the kind of content that you're into or not? So I was a little nervous about putting this on the docket, really, for real.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, I like that we kind of get some insight into like how they interact with each other, like outside of the, you know, the whole their idols and presenting an image kind of thing, you know, like we get to get some insight into what they do as hobbies and like just how they interact with each other outside of their job, you know, which is fun and interesting.
Yeah, and separating them like that, like, I think it helps them kind of get to the bottom of things a little bit, because like the way that they edit it, you know, we're gonna get some insight. If we're not getting insights from the room, we're gonna get insights from the peanut gallery, just like talking about their relationship.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's I liked it when it came out. Jeanette and I watched these as they came out, and I enjoyed it at the time, and it was just a, you know, nice little bite-sized little piece of content. Very good. Super fun.
Yeah, like the real life version of dwaekki.
Like the real life version of dwaekki. And speaking of the real life version of dwaekki, I recently was recommended this show, and I don't want to like advertise it, right? Because there's like a strike going on for actors.
Right.
But let's just say that Tom recommended me a show, and Jeanette and I watched both seasons of it, and it was the real life version of dwaekki. You know what I mean? Yeah. It really was. It was just that good.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed it a lot. The only thing I'm disappointed about is that it's over, and I still don't know what's going on. So
yeah,
it's a real problem.
I'm just like, I'm really hoping that it doesn't turn into another Lost where it's like, okay,
they don't know what they're doing, so they're just going to make it up.
Yeah. When are we going to get to like a reasonable conclusion to anything? And also just like some of the stuff I just don't feel like the way that it's presented, it is presented in a way where I don't feel like we'll ever get an answer about it. Right. For instance, the guy in the place with the thing, you know what I mean?
The guy in the place with the thing.
It's gonna be hard for me to talk about this without giving like any type of spoilers. But
okay, hold on. Well, we'll make it into kind of a game.
Yeah,
all right.
Sure.
Is this first season or second season?
I its second season, I think. I don't know. We watched them back to back, so it's like hard for me to separate them. But I'm pretty sure it's second season. It's the guy who somehow threw the rope, even though he shouldn't have been able to throw a rope. You know what I'm talking about?
No, okay. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. 100%. I was like, so in that scene, I was like, I mean, maybe he kicked it, but he's got no strength. But like, you know,
that's
like,
not my question. That's not my question. My question isn't how did he throw the rope. My question is, based on the evidence of, or based on the circumstances of the people that we see in that place later on,
right? What
does that mean about that guy in particular and that whole situation? You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. I do know what you are saying. My interpretation of it was kind of like, spooky, scary. He's not alive. You know what I mean? Like he was like a victim in the past.
I believe that he was a victim in the past. But what I'm saying is, the people that are there later are also somewhere else. You know what I mean? And so because he was there, where else was he?
Well, okay. Well, that actually is a very good question because there's some possibility that he does exist elsewhere and he's the real life version of Dwaekki.
Yeah.
But the way that I kind of internalized it was that like they didn't stop the music, we'll say, and he died. But since he was the last one, like his, we'll say, spirit that was in this other location was like kept alive until he could pass on the curse or whatever we would call it.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing. Yeah, the thing about the curse, as we'll call it, is how it was. I mean, maybe they explained it at some point, but how did he know that only one person could have the curse at a time? You know, because he just like he just knew that right off the bat. But I'm thinking, like, when he presented it, when we first got introduced to the curse, I was thinking, oh, okay, so just like that's how you spread it around and anyone can have it, you know, like multiple people could have it. But he was like, he just knew immediately that only one person could have it at a time. And I'm just like, how do you know that? And how do you and how did you know that was, well, I mean, I don't think he knew that it was going to work, but he had a pretty good idea. But it's like, how'd you know you got rid of it? You know?
Right. No, yeah, that's true. And if you want to understand what we're talking about, because we're trying not to spoil things while talking about it, go and watch the show that Tom talked about from the previous episode.
Like the real life version of Dwaekki.
Like the real life version of Dwaekki. Now, to talk about something I've watched that's actually relevant. Yeah. And hopefully I don't get any negativity for this.
Yeah, who cares?
I'm just saying. All right, here we go. You ready? Mm-hmm. Jeanette and I have watched all 3 episodes of A2K.
Oh.
America to Korea.
Right.
The JYP survival show.
Swap right this instant, Phil.
I will not swap because you know what? It is cringy. It's like, I don't know how to describe it really, because like the problem with it is that, spoilers, I'm going to give you a little spoiler because we may watch this in a year or something.
Sure.
But I'll give you a little spoiler, is that like the first 3 episodes are like, you know, the girls are trying out, but they didn't really show anyone like try out and then be like, no, like if they made it to JYP, they got a pass. And so I'm like, it's not like, you know, like you kind of expect that American Idol style, like, oh, like you get in front of Simon Cowell and he's like, you're horrible. And they did like a montage of them and like, but it was like 1 minute long and in the 3rd episode. So I don't know. It was weird that like everyone who shows up gets through, and I was like, oh, okay. But like, you know, I've seen another one of his JYP's I've seen another one of his survival shows. I've seen more than one, I guess, technically. But they like this, it follows like the exact same format as the Neezy project, like with everything involved, having a boot camp, everything, because like most of the people who try it out they've never been like trained in any way. And so like they're trying out to be trainees at JYP and then have the potential to either get eliminated or debut later. So it's it's weird. JYP's weird. Like we know this, right?
Yeah.
The JYP's a weirdo. But like there was like a moment where he like came in and he sat down and he turns and like the whole like side next to the stage, like where he's sitting, is all staff, right? JYP staff and stuff. And he turns to them and he's like, you know what? I think today's going to be a good day. You know why? I was on my way in here today and I was listening to Aretha Franklin. And as I pulled up on a street, I looked over and saw this small street. And guess what? It was called Franklin Avenue. So, and I'm like, what does that mean? What does that have to do with anything?
No, I see it. I understand.
Aretha Franklin,
Yeah.
Franklin Avenue. There's no streets in America named Franklin Avenue. We certainly don't have a FDR. What did that F stand for? I have no idea. Ferdinand. Yeah. I don't know. I was laughing so hard at it, but like, I don't know, man. Like, Jeanette and I, what started our journey into Stray Kids was the Neezy Project, a JYP survival show. And so like we just enjoyed it. We just watched 3 episodes. Like there's a ton of cringe and some of the comments made me go like, ooh, and like look at Jeanette, but that's fun too. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So.
Sometimes you don't watch. Sometimes you just don't watch something because it's good. You watch it because it scratches an itch, because it's cringe, because it's like Twilight. Nobody actually likes Twilight. Nobody actually likes Twilight. You watch Twilight with people around you to just make fun of it, so that you can so that your wife, can buy you a shirt that has a bunch of different pictures of Jacob throughout the movie that says, Bella, where the hell have you been, Loca? And you wear that to the gym, and then someone at the gym is like, so are you team Jacob or team Edward? And I was like, I'm team my wife bought this shirt for me.
Oh man,
but then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm team Alice because damn. And if you know about Twilight, then you know.
The only Alice I know is in Wonderland and your mom. So sure, whatever you say.
Yeah, if you're not team Alice, you're wrong.
Is Alice the baby?
No,
Okay.
That's Nessie. That's
I
Nessie.
don't know. Dude, I've never seen or read anything about Twilight. I don't know anything other than sparkly vampires play baseball at least once.
No, Alice is Alice is my mom's name, but that's not why I like Alice from the movie. Alice is, your stereotypical pixie cut goth girl who's also a vampire,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense that you would like that. I see it. She's like the real life version of dwaekki, really.
She is the real life version of and she's psychic. Yeah, she's psychic, right? She knows the future. Well, she can see the future, but the future can be changed.
Well, then I guess you're not really seeing the future, then, right?
You're seeing
a future.
Yeah, you're seeing potential outcome. Anyway, this isn't a Twilight podcast, but
it could be.
She's not God, all right? She's just got a 99% chance of knowing what's probably going to happen. She is married to... Are they married or are they just dating? I don't know. They never really established that. But her BF, throughout the series is vampire married, is this guy named Jasper, who is...
I'm learning so much right now about Twilight.
He used to be in the Confederate Army, but we don't hold that. We don't hold that against him.
We don't?
No.
No. Seems like something you would want to hold against someone.
Alice's that's Alice's project. Okay, she's like, I can change him, and that's what that's what she does.
I actually do understand that. Yeah,
that
makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, we watched Two Kids Room. It was good. The first episode was Hyunjin and Felix. What'd you think of their dynamic?
I liked it, like the real life version of dwaekki.
Yeah, that's next episode. So Hyunjin, especially while he was away on hiatus during Kingdom, really dug into his hobby of doing art and painting and stuff. And the first painting he ever did, or the first painting he made as a gift for someone, he gave to Felix, and Felix kind of like designed his room around it and stuff, and has it on the wall. I think that's pretty awesome. I think they've posted he's either done Felix has either done a live or posted like a selfie or something. Like the painting is out there. Like there's evidence. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It said when the like talking heads, the other members were talking about them, they said that like they're both like really passionate about their hobbies, and I think that's true. Felix's hobby is baking. Everybody knows that. He bakes brownies. His brownie recipe is like famous. Every once in a while, I'll just find that it like has gone viral on TikTok again.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a dude whose like whole spiel on TikTok is that he makes cookies, and I guess some stays were confused and kept asking him to make the brownie recipe, and he was like, you know what, fine, I'm just gonna do it. And he made the brownie recipe, and he made these brownies, like showed kind of like how he made them, and then like baked them, and then took them out and ate them, and he's like, look, I gotta tell you, these are the best brownies I've ever eaten my entire life.
Nice.
So, that was nice, but it just seems like every once in a while, like his recipe, like the fact that he made these brownies and stuff, like just comes back up again,
Yeah, well, good for him.
Yeah, it is good. I mean, like everyone knows about Hyunjin's art, but like, the baking, that's something you do, on a more personal level. You bring cookies to like a friend or staff or whatever. Like it's not something that Stay necessarily gets to see a lot of, unless you watch all of the Skiz talkers, which we do not watch because they're eating backstage in a lot of those. So you get to see it a little bit there. Yeah, what else did I write down here? They have a matching couples ring. How do you feel about that?
I mean, good for them. We should do that. We should. I'm surprised we haven't done it already.
I mean, I guess so. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
We
should get one of those necklaces that's like, each one of us has one piece that makes the whole.
Like a heart?
Yeah, like a heart, or like I don't know,
mm-hmm.
or like a dab. Like we could have like an arm.
Dab?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Okay.
Not like a dab.
Why not? We could both get tattoos on like butt cheeks. And then put them together, and it would spell out Tenacious D.
Yeah. That would be a reason for me to get a tattoo. One of the biggest reasons that I have not gotten any tattoos yet is that I just don't know, like nothing is that important to me that I'm like, it needs to be on my body,
Oh yeah. Well, but I have a tattoo
Metal Gear
that I got
Solid,
when I was 18.
Look, that's the thing is that I have an idea for what I want my first tattoo to be, because it's like significant, because I like it, and it is it's the Foxhound logo, like the emblem from Metal Gear Solid. That's what I want my first tattoo to be, because it's like it's meaningful to me. It's not just like I got a shark on Shark Week, it's like, I don't know, that's lame, but whatever, people can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's your body. Like, it's your art, so
your
enjoy
body,
it.
Your choice. But if you wanted to, like, I would forego getting a Metal Gear Solid tattoo as my first tattoo if you wanted to get like I'll get P on my finger and you get T on your finger, and when we put them together, it will be P and T. I don't know.
PT. We're doing physical therapy.
Yeah,
it'd be like TT. Yeah, what about we could get there's that message in our chat that someone had left for us that we've been using a lot recently. And what if we could get that tattooed just in our butt cracks? You know what I'm saying?
In the butt crack?
In the butt crack? Yeah.
in the crack?
Well, you know what it says, right?
Wait, no. What message are you talking about? I don't know.
You know what it's...
Hold on.
Here,
oh, yeah.
the one that says crawling into Chan's butt crack.
Yeah. Crawling into, but we're not Chan. We can't. Are we amending it to say crawling into Phil's butt crack or crawling into Tom's butt crack?
I don't know. I feel like I've gone too far already.
We've gone really deep into the butt crack, and I think we need to claw our way out of here.
Yeah. Anyway, couple rings are
like the
cool.
real life version of dwaekki.
The thing about it is that, like, it's a thing that I do think you and I could do, right? Is having like a matching ring or something like that. But
totally.
I don't, like, men do not do that. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, who gives a shit? You booped me on the nose in front of an HEB clerk, all right?
Yes, I know. With the receipt. I was there.
Yeah.
Okay. But my point is that like our relationship, like certain relationships are solid enough to have that kind of foundation. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think we're secure enough in our
existence.
Life. I was gonna say masculinity, but like who nobody cares about that shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
people do, right? But
I know.
I don't. Oh, so I put on my sunglasses when I was leaving work the other day, and they were like, "What's up with those sunglasses?" Because it's the kind that like go over my current glasses. So they're like,
okay, sure.
They're kind of big. They're not like fucking aviators or whatever. They're like, somebody was like, "What's up with your sunglasses?" I was like, "They go over my glasses," and they're like, you can just get sunglasses with your prescription, and I'm like, I don't fucking give a shit. these are fine. And they're like, they look goofy. I'm like, who am I trying to impress? Huh? I don't give a fuck. Okay, they're sunglasses, and I only wear them when I'm driving, so who cares?
Yeah. I recently had a very similar experience like that, but I did not handle it as well as you did. So I mostly internalized it, waited a few days, told Jeanette. She was mad, and then I told Chat once while you were away at the bathroom or something, and they were mad. So, yeah,
wow,
yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, someone relentlessly made fun of the sunglasses that Jeanette had bought for me from like a corner store or whatever, and it was like the first time I had worn sunglasses in a long time.
Oh,
and I was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm just not gonna wear these anymore.
Why?
Like,
just wear them in spite of that. In fact, every time you see that person, put on the sunglasses. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. What Anna said. Wouldn't you like to have someone that gives you fun gifts?
Yeah.
The comment was not. What was the comment? Oh, was it discriminatory towards certain types of people?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you about it later. I don't want to if I tell too much, it'll give away too much.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Would you fucking Jeanette just like posts it in chat. Like,
what the
that is
fuck?
Yeah.
Who? What?
And then like when like everyone else who was there was like, this is uncomfortable, we'll let it go. They pulled up a picture on their phone to show everyone. Like, huh? Right? And I was just like, what the fuck? Anyway, I'll tell you who it was later. Yeah.
What a thing to say at all.
Yeah.
Not like, I
know.
I'm assuming this was at work because that's the only place I can see you going where someone would. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. You like. That's what. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow. Look, if you're listening to this and you've caught on to the fact that we're talking about you, like, yeah, you're fucked up, dude.
Yeah,
you should reconsider the type of things that you think about.
Well, what are you gonna do? Throw them into the sun?
Yeah. eat them, just like the real life version of dwaekki.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that they talked about a little bit, besides like when they got really deep talking about like their emotions and how they matter to each other by saying it in English, which was like, well, that's a lot, man. Like this is like a full confession. But before that, they talked about like their style a little bit, and I found it really interesting that Hyunjin said that like when he's like dancing, he really feels like he needs to focus on the kind of expressions he's making, like with his face and everything, to like make it really like fit and make himself stand out and be like artistic and stuff about it, because he feels like when he just has like a blank face, or if he's not doing that he looks kind of plain, which I don't know who would think that, but sure. While Felix, he believes, is kind of like a natural, just no matter how he looks, like people are like, you know, gasping when he comes up on camera.
Yeah, like so. I mean, I don't think that he looks plain, but I think he's right in the assessment that Felix is typically like more expressive, naturally expressive. But I don't think
like it's like, yeah,
I don't think he suffers from just like a resting plain face or anything, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's just that. I mean, that's obviously his. I want to say like his Achilles heel, but like it's what he's sensitive about, right? Is like he probably internalized like a comment somebody had made while he was a trainee or something, just like, oh, like, you know, you really need to work on your facial expressions like while you're performing and stuff, which they do talk about. I mean, like that is a common thing, that it's like important to match your facial expressions with like what you're trying to express while dancing and stuff.
Yeah.
So like it is important, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just think it was interesting how much respect they have for each other as performers. But yeah, then they got into like the English little conversation they had where it was like very like Felix just laying it on, being like, I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for you being there next to me and stuff. And I'm just like, whoa, okay. All right, guys. Like, this is the first episode, guys. Like, could you like reel it in a little bit? We're trying to have some fun here, you know? But yeah, it was good. The next episode we had, episode 2, had the real life, what does it say here? It's the real life version of dwaekki.
The real life version of dwaekki. Yeah.
Now, to explain why for the entire first, 20 minutes of this episode, we've been saying the real life version of dwaekki, you would have to watch that episode 2, with the subtitles on, and then you'll understand. That's all you have to do.
Yep.
So you'll understand the real life version of dwaekki. He's like the real life version of
if
dwaekki,
you watch it, you have to watch it with the subtitles on though, and then you'll be like the real life version of dwaekki.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Changbin and Sungmin, what did you think about their relationship? Like, how do you feel about them?
It's interesting. I thought there was a moment where I was like, I don't think he meant it like as an insult, and I don't know if Sungmin took it that way, but Sungmin was like, do you miss me when you're at the gym? And Changbin was like, when I'm at the gym is when I need you the least. like laughed at him like, no, I don't fucking miss you when I'm in the gym. If anything, you should miss me, but when you're not at the gym, you know?
Yeah. he said you need me when you're in the gym, not the other way around.
I was like, damn, reel it in a little bit there, guy.
Like, I literally wrote down that their relationship is antagonistic. Like they like are like at each other, and like the thing that they called out specifically is like they know where the line is to like mess with each other, and they walk right up to it. They are constantly just like walking up right up to it to try and just like, because there was that whole part like right at the very beginning when Sungmin was like I don't know, like, why do you think you're like a rabbit and a pig? And he's like, well, what do you mean? What animal do you think I'm like? And he's like, well, like you just seem more like one animal, not two animals. and Changbin's like, which animal do you think I'm more like? You don't think I'm like do you think I'm like a rabbit? Is that the one I'm more like? And Sungmin's like, I don't know about that. And he's like, is it a rabbit or a pig? And he's like, oh yeah, definitely one of the two. And I'm like, you fucking asshole. He's such a dickhead. It's oh god, it's so funny. I just like the Sungmin really like is one of the funniest members, and like you don't get to, like, if you're not watching this kind of content, if you're just watching them on stage and stuff, he's such a serious performer.
Yeah.
Like, he cares about the craft, the vocals. Like, he cares so much and practices so hard. And if you only knew him for the music and for the music production side of things, you wouldn't know this side of him. You wouldn't know that he's just like, yes, I love to torture the members as much as I can without destroying them. Like,
Yeah.
it's so good.
He is I don't know, he is a very interesting guy. I don't know if I've said this before, but he's definitely like slowly been climbing up the bias, ladder. Because he just does stuff from time to time I'm just like, wow, like he he is far more interesting than he lets on. Who's my top 3 right now? Oh man, that's tough. I mean, definitely
is it?
Number 1 is Changbin, like that's a given, right?
Naturally.
Number 2 is I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't. We'll just say it's Sungmin right now.
I've got to tell you that the door in the office is closed. And I just heard Jeanette from all the way down the hallway, and what I assume is in the living room. So she's like all the way across the house. Go, what about Bangchan?
Look,
she's gonna wake the children up because you didn't say Bangchan. Okay,
yeah. Okay, I've said this before. I know I've said this before, and that is that like if we didn't take into account any type of like bias wrecking moments that like temporarily put people ahead, Bangchan is like always at the top.
Right.
He's either always number 2 or always number 1, but Changbin's my true love, so he's gonna stay number 1. But Bangchan is just, like it's I don't know, but
No, I know, I understand 100%.
Bangchan doesn't have bias wrecking moments because he's just the constant wrecker of bias. If you can't think of like what makes any member and in particular stand out at any given moment, it's Bangchan. He's there, right? He is the standard. That is the top of the bias ladder. And so when you're trying to think of like, oh well, who's my number 1, who's my number 2, who's my number 3, you got to think of like recent things that made you more interested in another member than him at that time.
Yeah, I know, I get that. I mean, like, the thing is with Bangchan, like you said, like, well, he's not having like the I was gonna say, like, today in Paris, Stray Kids were the first K-pop act to be the headliner at Lollapalooza. And so you might say that they were at the top line.
Like the real life version of dwaekki.
Like the real life version of dwaekki. Ah, shit, my cat is fucking begging to get out. Hold on. Hold on. All right. Anyway, yeah, so they were at Lollapalooza, and I tried to watch a live stream on TikTok. That didn't work because it wasn't like 1 frame per second. It was 1 frame per 2 minutes. So like I couldn't do that. But then somebody on Twitter was live streaming just audio, and that was perfectly clear the whole time. So that was good. But I've since seen a lot of like screenshots, and they all had some great bias wrecking moments. But Bangchan specifically danced his ass off quite literally because he ripped his pants. And the thing is that he then went and posted on Bubble a little later because he didn't notice. He performed like three or 3.5 songs with ripped pants. It was ripped down the inseam, like kind of between the end. Oh, they were shorts, but like right above the knee and then all the way up, basically.
Oh.
So like, you know, yeah. Didn't like cross the middle, but like it went far up the inseam. And he posted in on Bubble because he didn't notice, because he saw that Lino also ripped his pants and was too busy laughing at Lino having ripped his pants to notice that his pants had also ripped.
Wow.
Which I thought was really funny. Yeah. So, you know, like as long as you're going to be performing on like the biggest stage ever in front of an enormous crowd, you might as well rip your pants, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying Bangchan's still good also, and I know you know that. But that's cool to know that like Seungmin is climbing the ranks. It's good. And that is like a sign of like the stay in you, I think, because like, you know, I think for like somebody had said, like for like 100 episodes you've been like, no, it's Changbin then Bangchan. Like we haven't had a lot of wiggle room, but we've allowed for some wiggle room now because, you know, it's getting good. I like that.
But I did get rid of a Bubble, so, you know, I don't, you know.
Look, when I got Bubble and we talked about it on the podcast a long time ago, I also said the Bubble is not for me.
Yeah.
I cannot.
It's not for me at all. It's okay.
You never told.
That's your thing for you, you know. Are you gonna say I never said who I subscribe to, and I never will?
Yeah. You never said. So could you at least you never even gave us the number of Bubble subscriptions you had,
like the real life version of dwaekki.
You said, yeah, like the real life version of dwaekki. You only said like more than one or more than two or something like that, and I'm like, well, how many are there? Yeah. Yep. And you're still not going to tell us? Is that what you're saying?
Why would
by
I?
not saying anything?
That's that's old news, you know.
Oh my god! All right,
we're over it.
Fine. Yeah, we're over it. Like the real life version of dwaekki.
Yeah.
I have written down here that Lino contributes a lot during these, and that's true. I didn't write anything specific, but like he has some insight or joke or something in like every part of it.
I'll say if somebody everyone put out their 3 guesses, like in one, you know, the 3 that they think that I had, because I had 3.
Okay, so you did have 3.
I had 3.
Okay,
what 3 do you think I had? And I'll say if somebody gets it right.
Changbin, Bangchan, and Felix. Or it could just be 3 Racha. But I was pretty sure you got Felix, so. Because having Felix's Bubble, if like you're not really into doing Bubble, will definitely make you not use Bubble.
Yeah, okay, somebody got it. Somebody got it.
Okay, all right, somebody got it. All right. But you're not going to say who. That's good. Fun. How fun. Anyway, yeah, Lino seems to be very insightful. He's you know, helping out a lot at filling in the commentary, no matter who is on the stage, as it were. Changbin said that he was not like worried about Seungmin performing on Kingdom. He wasn't like worried about it, but he was like worried that Seungmin wouldn't be satisfied if he wasn't perfect, like when he did the vocal stage with Love Poem. And so when he did so well, it mattered all that much more to Changbin, who was watching, and he said that he cried when he listened to it, and I thought that was very sweet.
I cry every time.
Yeah, well, it's Love Poem. Who doesn't cry? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then Seungmin told the story that Changbin is like a very reliable, like older brother in the group. And so one time he had come to talk to Seungmin about his problems that he was like frustrating or having a problem or whatever. And like Seungmin said, like he took that to heart really hard because he was like, oh man, like the person who is most dependable is like having struggles. So like, is everything okay? You know? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But I think that's just because like the older members feel like this weird responsibility to like not show emotion. It's very like for like boys in a group where they do fashion and wear couple rings and stuff like that. Like there's still some like weird toxic masculinity that just is a part of society that just you can't escape, I guess, because it's just like they're like hugging each other, squeezing each other's butts and stuff, but no crying in front of each other. You hold your tears in. Like, well, later on somebody else is like, if I'm crying and a movie's on, I'll just hold it in. I'm like, oh, that's real healthy. Like, I don't know. It's it's interesting for sure. Anyway, we got to the next episode, which was Lino and IN. Yeah. What'd you think of these two?
Neither of them were who I subscribed to on Bubble.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. I mean, definitely IN makes sense. If you want IN content, just subscribe to just like follow them on Instagram because he posts all the time, constantly. He does like outfit of the day, like selfies all the time. So, if you really want that. Yeah, that's only 6 left. Anyway, so they're like a weird pair, right? Because Lino is one of the oldest members and IN is super young. And like Bangchan has this way about him when he's interacting with IN where he just is all over him, hugging him, just doting on him constantly. But Lino is a little bit more, don't want to say traditional, but like, like they seem like they would have like kind of like not like a standoffish relationship, but that like, they wouldn't have as much in common, but they seem to get along really well, actually. So
yeah,
that's cool. And in fact, who said it? I don't know. Well, either way, somebody had said that like that they Lino like cares and wants to look out for IN, but he doesn't want to show it. So like he wants to like take care of him from the shadows.
Right. Right.
So that's interesting. Also, I should like, I feel like I'm bearing the lead by not mentioning the fact that like at the very beginning, as they were going to eat their bread, he was just like, hey, IN, what do you say we both die at the same time? Huh? And he like put out his hand to like shake on it. Like, what if we both die peacefully at the same time? It'll be a pact. We both go to sleep and never wake up again. What do you say? Huh? Is that it? Is that, should we? And then he brought it back up again. He's like not weirdly, I guess it's just part of his personality, but he's like always been like I just want to exercise enough to live to die naturally in a peaceful situation. He wants to die of natural causes peacefully. Yeah. In his bed.
Good for him.
And good for him. I mean, like, you gotta have goals. And as far as goals go, like, this is like an achievable thing that you can take actions towards. And
dying
like,
at the same time as someone else?
Well, dying at the same time as somebody else seems like a lot more difficult. I just meant dying peacefully at an old age from natural causes.
You can make sure that you die at the same time as someone else.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can take actions to ensure that. Should you? Probably not.
Yeah. I also wrote down, God, purple hair Lino. He looks so good. I really miss that. His purple hair look is so good.
Like the real life version of dwaekki.
Like it is a lot like the real life version of dwaekki. Yeah. Yeah, they said that they did. Oh, and this brought me back too. They did like a couple episodes of streams on V Live that got canceled. Well, they say canceled. They just may have been that they didn't decide to keep doing it. But V Live doesn't exist anymore. So if you're watching this now or listening to us, like they're gonna be talking about V Live. If you weren't into K-pop and stuff, like you wouldn't know that there was an app called V Live where all of the different K-pop groups would live stream, and it just doesn't exist anymore. So
Like Vine.
Like Vine, yeah.
Just
and with the way
gone.
of the Vine. Yeah. Yeah, there was like a weird there was like a weird moment for me, I feel like in this, and that's this like they were having a conversation about like losing weight, which of course was funny because Lino was like, yeah, I recently got abs. And then he like looks down at his shirt and he's like, and they're gone. So, you know, that's what happens. Which I thought was awesome. Love that. But IN was talking about like, you know, like my I felt like I was gaining weight, and so I had to diet because like I wanted to look better, whatever. And he's talking about it, and Lino mentions like, oh well, you know, when I've seen you diet, sometimes like you skip meals, and there was a time during the Thunderous era, like when they were promoting Thunderous, when like he had like his like cheeks were like sunken in because like he had lost so much weight. And I'm like, damn, like being an idol is not a healthy thing necessarily.
No,
like
probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. Found that to be a little
For
strange.
more than one reason, and the diet is one of them, but or whatever whatever diet you have to be on or whatever. But I'm sure there's other parts of being an idol that aren't great.
I'm sure that that the staff would have helped him along with whatever dieting that he wants to do. But from his description, it sounds like it was his choice. Like he just felt like, you know, I looked at my own selfies and I could tell that I'd put on weight, and so I wanted to cut it down and all that stuff. So, yeah. I don't know. They talk about it so nonchalantly, like, yeah, you know, sometimes, you know, you just skip meals. You know, it's a great way to lose weight. It's like it's like bulimia in Zoolander. Like, oh, you were bulimic? What? That's a great way to cut some pounds. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. All right. At a certain point, they were talking about like
what? So you threw up? She's like, no, it's a serious problem. It's a disease. And they're like, what? We do that every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So they were talking about.
I skip meals from time to time, but not for weight loss. Not as a weight loss technique. More as just I'm fucking lazy, and it's a lot easier to just not eat.
I think that's normally like it's like an ADHD thing about like if you know are like hyper fixated on something, you're just not eating. So
yeah. That is true. We had lunch earlier, and then every hour as it approached closer to 9, I was like, should we have dinner? But like you said, I'm like hyper fixating on something, so I don't really like every time I'm like, ooh, should we get dinner? I think I'm not really hungry right now, but I'm not hungry because I'm super focused on something else.
Yeah.
But whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's fine. They talked a little bit about going to Busan and or Gimpo, and you know, visiting various places. And Lino asked Ian out on a date to go to a cafe with him, and specified that you know, that he wanted to be on a date with him. And Ian was like, "What, are you breaking up with Han?" And then he was like, you know, and it was, you know, they lean into it. All right. Everybody knows they lean into it. And then at the very end, you know, that Lino said again that he wants to die a peaceful death at the same time as Ian, and then reached out for a high five and just got left hanging there for a while.
Yeah.
But he did get the high five in the end. I'm not sure that Ian was agreeing to the mutual death pact, but you know, I think it's okay.
It was I don't know. It was probably more like, no, you're gonna have to put this in, but it was probably more like
yeah. Yeah. I'll use my version of it. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I mean, like, you know, again, as was pointed out lovingly by Rogue in the chat, please don't ever skip a meal to lose weight. Eat well and take care of your health. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the last episode we watched, it was Han and Bangchan. What did you think of this pair?
It was like the real life version of dwaekki.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. The very first moment or moments when they're like just sitting down, Han just walks up and drinks a little bit of his iced Americano and then immediately spills it.
Yeah, I did like that part.
So funny. I just like, what the fuck? Like, this man, he's something special. Everybody in like the confessionals and stuff were just like, listen, you all need to understand that Han is a genius. Like, I don't know how to explain it. He is good at everything. If he wants to write a song, he will write all the lyrics. He not that he doesn't struggle, but like he's like just dedicated to doing the craft. And like people are like, you don't get it. You don't get it. He's a genius. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's pretty funny.
How do I not have that as a sound clip in the soundboard?
Fucking genius.
Wait, do I? I thought I did, but maybe.
No, that's on your Twitch.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I do have it.
No. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put that in later. Yeah, I know. We said it out loud, so it's good enough.
Yeah. Everyone go watch Secret Lettuce. Anyway.
There was a large portion of it where they were kind of talking about how, like, when Bangchan is upset, everybody knows, and everybody just, like, avoids him. They, like, stay away from him. But Han knows, like, when to approach him. Like, because they've known each other for longer than anybody else in the group. Mm-hmm. They have a good sense of, like, when they can approach each other. The other thing I thought was funny is that, like, they basically said, like, Bangchan will be in the middle of the room and the darkness, like, kind of emanates from him. And then, like, but with Han, when he is feeling bad or feeling upset, it comes in from the corner of the room. Like, and that does make sense. He's so much of an introvert. And also, like, the descriptions of his personality during this, it's like, look, I am not a psychiatrist, okay? I'm not diagnosing him with ADHD, but the ADHD it's, you know, the symptoms are there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there because, you know, he talked about, like, oh, you remember when I started playing that game and then I didn't stop playing it for 3 days, and then once I stopped, though, I just never went back to games for a little while. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, he's like describing like ADHD hyperfixations, like, to a T.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know. It's so funny, like, how, and it's hard, right? Because he's like, and he like even talked about like the whole, with League of Legends, like, people were into League of Legends, but he had no interest in playing it. So instead, he memorized all of the characters and all of their stories, which is really amazing. I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. He's great. They were both pretty fun. Yeah. Oh, we also got some like fun Han English when he was being praised by Bangchan for how he, you know, writes lyrics and everything. And like when Bangchan was done praising him, he was like, "Yeah, man, thank you," and gave him a fist bump. And I was like, "Oh, that's such a good, like, there's not a lot of like background noise. Like, I just really want to have that on the soundboard. Yeah, man, thank you." Like, That's like a lot of times the things on our soundboard are just things I find funny, are not like actually used for reactions. I feel that way about a lot of our stickers too, is that like we have a lot of stickers in Discord that are just like, these are funny pictures and I think they're funny. And sometimes I use them. But like a lot of times when you're, what you want is like an emoji or like whatever that like expresses reaction. Yeah, an actual reaction. And this is that. So like I gotta clip it. I gotta put it on there.
Yeah. What's the newest sticker? Oh yeah, it's the picture that Rogue drew. Like,
oh yeah,
that's not a reaction.
It's a good one though.
This one, okay, the one before that though, this side eye, that is a reaction.
Yeah, the side eye from Hyunjin. It's good. Yeah, let's see, what else do I have written down here? The other thing is that Han wakes up Bangchan in the morning, which is really funny to me because we've seen like in the early seasons of like the 9th and stuff, like Bangchan in the morning, like he doesn't go to bed until really late, and then he wakes up early, which is hard for him, and so Han has to be the one. And he talked about it like he's like, Bangchan's like curled up in like a blanket cocoon, and then like has his phone like mounted above him so that he can watch a show or whatever, like probably in the morning and while he's falling asleep. I mean, I do that. I assume he's watching some kind of narrowboat YouTuber, but that's just because he heard it on this podcast,
right?
And it helps him sleep at night.
Yeah.
So that's my assumption anyway. And yeah, and then he slowly wakes up like he's coming out of his cocoon. I thought that was cute. I also thought that there was like a little bit of like a bittersweet kind of moment in their discussion, because Han mentioned like, you know, like it's nice like when they were in the dorms together and they were kind of tightly packed, he would like dream about like, oh man, how nice is it going to be when we're able to all have our own rooms. And now that they all have their own rooms, he's like, it's not that he like regrets it, because like it is helpful, it is a good thing, but like he finds himself like missing the moments of like when all 8 of them were packed together in a small dorm and he was alone with Ayan and they would talk at night and Bangchan would just sneak in to be silly and, you know, just all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh man, like he's such a nostalgic boy. Like, yeah. Yeah. Love that. Also, I did write down that they were saying top line a lot when they were like discussing like writing songs and like how hard it is to write the top line. And they kept saying, yeah, we write the top line. And I just, you know, I just couldn't help but think, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're so good.
This came out before S-Class.
Way before.
Or 5-star.
This came out before these episodes, the ones we're in right now, came out before Ordinary.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You think they were actually like that they had already started on top line at that point?
100%. Yeah, dude, like they yeah. I mean, like when we found out that like you know, like the songs that they were working on for 5-star, like some of those songs they've been working on for like 4 years of the 5 years they've been active.
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Yeah, Super Bowl was the original God's Menu. You're right, exactly. So like, you know, it's like they work on things way ahead of time. Like we don't know. And like constantly when we watch the album intros, they're just like, oh yeah, you know, this song, it's the new title track. We've had it recorded with you know, just guide vocals for 3 years. And I'm just like, motherfucker, what do you have planned for 10 years from now? Because you definitely have it planned. Like, what is it? What do you do? Yeah, I don't know. That's why, like, it's like a meme in Stayville, but it's true that like people are just like, give me that fucking laptop, Bangchan. I need to know what's on there.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, they even talked about like that when they look at Bangchan's his laptop, there's just a whole list of songs already recorded by Han, like a ton of them.
Yeah.
Because he's just interested in the craft. He wants to make it. He'll make it. And like Changbin said that like if he's having trouble with a song, he'll just avoid it until he gets an idea for a new song and then go work on that. But Han doesn't leave any song unfinished. He will work on it until it is done. And I find that just to be kind of incredible. And that was when they had all the he's a genius talk. But yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Because I can't do that. I mean, not just because I don't make music, but because like when I'm working on a project, I eventually get sick of it and I'm like, I'm going to go work on something else for a little while.
100%. Oh,
Yeah.
my everything. Yeah. In fact, what Rogue just said in chat, I actually used to have a shirt that said, I never finish anything.
That's great. I like that.
And it really defined me as a person, I feel like.
Yeah. It did.
Yeah. But that's literally every.
Was that you making a joke about not finishing things because you didn't finish that sentence?
And then
or was that real?
And then I found $5.
Okay.
I lost my train of thought for a second, but
okay, that was real. Okay, I thought you were fucking with me. I was like waiting for you to finish that thought, and I was like, oh, I see what you're doing. I see.
No,
I see. You're making the joke.
Sure. Yeah. That's what happened. Exactly. No, I just I can't finish anything.
Each other's sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, boom, diggy, diggy, boom, 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 boom.
That's not true though. I finished the. Okay, well, see that, and this is where it's like I can't feel good about the website because I only finished like one page of it. Like I finished the albums page and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm done with this page. But like deep down, I'm like, but that's only one page of like everything that I want to do with the website. So the website's not done, and like
right.
And now all of the all the red 40 that went into that has dissipated and has shifted to other projects now.
See, what happened is that you did what I did, right? Which is a problem, in a way. And Cassie has said it, is that you took baby steps. You set a little goal. Like I do this thing because it's hard for me to focus, right? Because of all of the brain. So like when I read a
brain,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I want to read a book, right? Like it's hard for me to like pay attention for that long, just sit and read a book. And I've had it, meanwhile, I can read articles on Reddit and comments and stuff just as long as any book, it's just different.
Right.
But if I'm reading an actual like physical book, and I told Jeanette this, and I didn't think it was weird until we talked about it, like that this is not like just a thing that people do. But like I will put the bookmark at the next chapter. Like I find the next chapter when I start a new one, and I put the bookmark there so that I can see it approaching me and I know how close I'm getting as I work my way through a chapter of reading a book. Because it like helps me to have like a little goal.
Yeah.
And I think, but here's the problem, right? Is that you did that, right? With the website, you were like, all right, I have a little goal. I need to get all of our, you set it out. Like you said, I want to get this page with all of our favorite songs from every album up. Like that's important. And you set the goal and you achieved that little goal, the baby step. But now it feels like you achieved your goal.
Right.
And so now, like you think back on it and you're like, I could have finished the whole website. There's more to do.
Yeah.
But you achieved a goal. And so your brain is like, oh, but I achieved
Job's
the goal.
done. Right.
Job's done. Yeah. Move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got the dopamine. You're out. Right.
Yeah. I also, I don't know if this is true or not, but I remember a long, long time ago, I read this thing that talked about how even talking about doing a thing will give you that little dose of serotonin as if you did it. And so like ever since then, I try really, really hard to avoid talking about things that I plan on doing. So like, you know, the other day when I was asking you for like sound files or whatever, so I could work on the trailer, and you kept asking me questions about it. Like,
Right.
it's not that I don't want to tell you. It's that if I do tell you, then my brain will think I've already done it, and then I won't fucking do it.
It's so fucking funny because like, okay, this is what's most fucked up about like having ADHD, right? Is that like another symptom of ADHD is having like a drive to want to explain the things you're thinking to people.
Oh my God, so much all the time.
where you're just like you want to like you have something that you want to say and you have to get it out, so you start a podcast about the eight men from Korea and who have a, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you can't stop,
dude.
So yeah,
I mean, I'm sure Anna can attest to this. Like the other day, I was playing Factorio, which is a game that's all about like just scratching that itch.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, Factorio is a fucking game for crackhead. It is insane the stuff that you have to think about to accomplish things in Factorio. And then like finally, so I like started working on this thing in Factorio, and I'm like doing all these things
in Factorio.
And then Anna came in and she was like, I'm going to bed. And I was like, oh, well, let me show you what I'm doing. She doesn't give a shit, you know? But like, I want to show her how fascinating it is.
Yeah.
And then so like she's luckily, you know, she's patient. And then I get through it. And then she goes, I can tell, I know why you enjoy that. I'm going to bed. Cool.
That's very sweet of her. Yeah, no, I look. That's it's Factorio. The game is Factorio.
Yeah, the game is Factorio.
Yeah, I have a similar. I do that kind of stuff all the time, right? Because like I am constantly like, I watch, you know, shitty gold shows, right? You know that about me, like gold mining shows. And I will just like, if I'm like watching it at work or something, and I just like take a few seconds, I will text Jeanette and tell her everything that's been happening in an episode. And one time I accidentally texted her family group chat. So to her parents, sister, brother, my brother-in-law, everyone. And I was just like, oh shit, the Hoffmans got a new, you know, they got a new wash plant. I think it's gonna do well. And then like I saw a response that was like, is like from Gold Rush, and I was like, yeah, you know. And then I suddenly realized that I wasn't replying to Jeanette. I was replying to Anthony, and I was like, oh no, what did I do? And then I just kind of was like, well, I'm not gonna delete it. So okay. Yeah. But the other thing is, speaking of like dopamine trap games, is that like Jeanette and I had seen like we saw like you know, the ad for Power Wash Simulator on the PS5 that it like there's like free DLC where you get to clean Midgard from Final Fantasy VII. And so I'm like, I was tempted because I'm just like, man, look, I don't want to go and clean things, but in a video game I might. And then they released a new DLC that was cleaning Croft Manor from Tomb Raider, which, like, Jeanette, if you don't know from listening to this podcast, she is the biggest fan of Tomb Raider. Like, she loves all the games. And so I was like, my brain, like, the cogs started turning. I'm like, well, I could justify it if I mentioned to Jeanette that, like, you know, hey, like, not only could I play this, but you could play it, and then it would be justified, right? And it's just like, goddamn. Which, by the way, look, I did tell her about the DLC, but I did not try to justify it, nor did I buy it. So, like, you know, I have some self-control, and that's good. You know, that's what we call progress. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Progress. Like the real life version of dwaekki.
Like the real life version. And if you want to be the real life version of dwaekki, you can go to makeustay.com and you can join our Discord by clicking the links from there.
Also, give us money on Patreon.
You can give us money on Patreon. You can see what our favorite songs are from every album, and then then you will truly be the embodiment, the life, the soul of the real life version of dwaekki.
Yeah, if we get one more subscriber on Patreon, I will reveal my bubble subscriptions.
Oh shit, he's putting it. That's an easy goal. That's we should have from the very beginning when we were coming up with goals for our Patreon. We should have gone easy instead of like difficult things that are hard.
Like, yeah, if we get $10 a month, we'll do an entire D&D campaign that will take us 3 years to commit to.
Yeah.
That's not your fault, Jeanette. No.
It was her idea, so
it was her idea. It was her idea that both of us immediately were like, "Yes, that sounds amazing."
Yeah, you know what the problem was? We talked about it and then felt like we did
it. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Anyway, we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. God, what should our next donation goal be?
Feet pics.
Like the real life version of dwaekki.